That's why you shouldn't be so kind. Because we have the use of reason and morality, we are taught the idea that we should give, share, and put generosity ahead of our personal interests. But does anyone warn us about the dangers of being too kind and compassionate? We live in a world where we don't always receive what we give, for it is full of generous people who find themselves drained both financially and energetically by random giving. Could excessive generosity even endanger our own lives? Are you surprised by the unexpected negative effects that kindness can have on you? Today, I will reveal the 8 things that have happened to you for being too kind, and provide 4 stoic strategies for preventing people from taking advantage of you. Subscribe and like this video, join me as usual and stay until the end. Don't give up. Number 1. People will only expect you to give them something. According to the Stoics, it's important to remember that true value comes from acting in accordance with virtue and reason, not simply catering to the expectations of others. Practicing moderation and giving in a balanced way allows you to maintain control over your own actions and avoid falling into habits that undermine your emotional well-being. You've heard your whole life that humans are creatures of habit, and it's never been better defined. People are programmed to adapt to a routine, a way of life, and a carousel of things going on around them. This adaptive tendency gives rise to the comfort zone concept. It means that if you get used to giving all the time, the recipients of your generosity will expect you to continue to give to them all the time. This means that you'll be leading people into their comfort zones, and they'll stop doing many of their tasks because of you'll be there to do them. The problem you will face in this case is that you don't value yourself, and it is highly unlikely that anyone will look you in the eye and tell you to think more of yourself. At the very least, don't expect that kind of compassionate act from those you help, because they'll stick to their personal Jesus Christ, and that will come at high cost to their lives. Be cheerful also, and seek not external help, nor the peace which others give. A man must stand straight, and not be kept straight by others. Marcus Aurelius. Number 2. We'll have unrealistic expectations of others. The Stoics emphasize the need to accept circumstances as they are, and not to base our happiness on the actions of others. By giving without expecting too much in return, you avoid disappointment and practice emotional detachment, which leads to greater peace of mind. It is difficult for us to be completely selfless in our generosity. When we give our all, consciously or unconsciously, we expect others to do the same. However, you've gotten people so used to having everything done for them that they take it for granted that you can handle everything in their life as well as your own, especially your own. Why else would you take on other people's responsibilities? The reality is that your expectations of reciprocity will not be met. And what's going to happen to you is that you will get bad mood fatigue, frustration, and disappointment. But if you look at it objectively, people aren't letting you down. They're doing what you should also be doing, taking care of their own responsibilities. If a person gave away your body to some passerby, you'd be furious. Yet you hand over your mind to anyone who comes along, so they may abuse you, leaving it disturbed and troubled. Have you no shame in that? Epictetus. Number 3. Your priorities will be trampled. The Stoics emphasize the importance of living in accordance with reason and virtue. Setting boundaries and prioritizing our own responsibilities is essential to maintain balance and avoid sacrificing our authenticity and well-being for others. If you give all of yourself to other people's priorities, you may find yourself running away from something inside you that's causing you pain and fear. What emotions do you feel when you spend the weekend alone or return home every day knowing that no one is waiting for you? If the cause of such a situation is a desire to escape from yourself, the blow will be doubly hard because, on the one hand, sooner or later you come face to face with your inner self, and on the other hand, your bad mood will increase and you begin to neglect your own priorities in order to attend to those of others. Self-care is a main factor in achieving well-being before providing comfort to others. You need to make sure that you feel satisfied and well taken care of. This means that you should never give someone a piece of chocolate without first enjoying one yourself. Just as you shouldn't offer to clean a friend's house without first leaving yours spotless. You come first, then the rest of the world. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own. Marcus Aurelius. Number 4. You will be seen as weak and treated as such. Stoicism encourages us to cultivate inner strength and self-control by setting boundaries and practicing self-discipline. We can show others that we are committed to our own responsibilities and values, gaining their respect instead of being perceived as weak. If you are helping too much over time, you could be seen as the authority figure in the area where you collaborate with others. But often you may be giving precisely the opposite impression, because when you don't set boundaries, people start to see you as weak, exactly like the antagonist of leader. So much so that they'll turn to you to unload their responsibilities onto you, knowing there is no risk of you saying no. On the contrary, from the moment you start using the magic word, they will begin to feel something for you that they had never thought of feeling. Respect. Number 5. You're going to have a lot of buts, the ones who only come to you when they need something. Stoicism teaches us to value wise judgment by using self-control and objectivity to choose whom we want to help. We can separate the genuine people from the ones who want to take advantage of us and avoid expending our energies in unexpected situations. Suddenly, those who consider you a good friend begin to exclude you from the pleasant conversation, only turning to you when they need something. If you think about it from a calculating point of view, it's not so strange that this could happen to you. The courts of kings are full of people, but empty of friends. Seneca. After all, people don't usually invite their employees out for coffee, let alone a beer. Of course, what happens to you is logical, but that doesn't mean it's just. Therefore, you must learn to manage the strategies that prevent people from taking advantage of you. I'll share them with you at the end. Number 6. You'll only attract needers, never givers. Through stoic discernment, we can cultivate authentic and mutually beneficial relationships. People who come into our lives do so in accordance with the vibrations of our energy. That is, when we vibrate low, we attract negative, gloomy people with dark spirits and unkind intentions. On the other hand, when our vibrations are high, we attract people full of positive energy, generosity, enthusiasm, hard work, and joy. Like attracts like. That's why when we give randomly, we lose so much energy that we begin to vibrate at a low frequency, which attracts needy people and even annoying parasites who have no intention, let alone means to help, but only come to extract everything they can from us and then leave so they even don't have to bother saying thank you. He who looks for advantage out of friendship strips it all of its nobility. Seneca. Number 7. you could end up falling into addiction. The Stoics promoted temperance and self-control. Practicing self-discipline and generosity helps us avoid falling into addictive patterns and allows us to make right and healthy actions and choices. When luck becomes a part of our daily lives, need grows. And that's the best scenario for falling into addiction. That's why one day someone close to you may notice that you're drinking too much, not necessarily bottled water, or eating too much, or even gambling too much. Pay close attention to what someone who cares about you might say, as your first reaction may be to get angry with them and shout that you don't have any problems. But this is the most typical reaction of people who are so deep in their own problem that they are unable to recognize that they have one. Always remember that people who care about you only want what's best for you. So take their observations very seriously, because they're there to help you stop falling and move forward. It is wrong not to give a hand to the fallen. This right is common to the whole human race. Seneca. Number 8. You raised suspicions. Stoicism encourages us to act virtuously, regardless of how others may perceive us. By focusing on living in harmony with our principles and values, we build a genuine reputation that is resistant to unfounded suspicions. As much as we'd like things to be different, the truth is that genuinely kind people are not abandoned in this world. Therefore, if you are one, you'll raise suspicions instead of admiration and gratitude. It won't be long before you display your kindness for people to start wondering what's going on with you and what hidden intention you have that you don't reveal to anyone. This means you've encountered a group of distrustful people. Most people who are overly eager tend to hide such evil intentions that it's best to stay away from them and refuse to help them. Now let's look at strategies for stopping people from using you. Strategy number 1. Remove your fear of the word no. According to the Stoic teachings, you recognize that your time and energy are precious and must be allocated in a balanced and careful way. Saying no in situations where you feel overwhelmed or when the request is unfair is a way to exercise self-control. Although the word no is associated with negative behavior and egoism, it's normal for us to have difficulty saying no. However, negativity will become our life if we don't develop the ability to say this word when someone asks more of us than we can give. Practice in front of the mirror and believe that it's the only way to recover your freedom and avoid unnecessary risks. Know this, that he that is a friend to himself is a friend to all men. Seneca. Strategy number 2. Listen to your feelings. Pay attention to your feelings and emotions. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-reflection to understand your reactions and needs by listening to your feelings. You can recognize when you are giving too much and emptying yourself emotionally, so you can adjust your focus and find a healthy balance. How do you feel about helping others? Thinking of yourself and prioritizing them in such an altruistic act that practicing it should make you feel like you are walking on clouds. So, if you feel overloaded, drained, angry or used, it's time to listen to your feelings. If something you are not obligated to do is causing you so much discomfort, it's important not to deceive yourself, so that you can discover how the help you are providing is affecting your well-being. Strategy number 3. Recognize energy vampires and distance yourself from them. Following the Stoic principles of self-discipline and discernment, it's important to understand which relationships are beneficial and which are emotionally draining. By distancing yourself from people who constantly drain your energy and don't contribute positively, you are taking care of your own health and applying stoic self-control to your relationships. If you try to help an energy vampire, know that it doesn't work. The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Epictetus. Energy vampires overload you with their complaints, their pains, and their catastrophic view of life. Never mind helping them. They don't want to fix their problems, because then they would have to stop complaining. They wouldn't tolerate that. In conclusion, according to the Stoic wisdom of life, the best measure of things is always the middle ground, and being generous is no exception. If we give too little, we come across as selfish and greedy, while if we give too much, we end up completely drained of energy, time, and possibly money. So find middle ground when it comes to balancing the priority of pleasuring others and pleasuring yourself. And when in doubt, always remember the magic word no. Strategy number 4. There is a time and space for you. Respect them. Following the Stoic principles of self-discipline and self-respect, it's important to make time and space to take care of yourself. Do what you enjoy. Practice yoga, paint, listen to music over a cup of tea, whatever motivates you. Finish your tasks as soon as possible so you can practice. This is something you should take very seriously as scheduling this time daily or weekly. Therefore, if someone asks for your help during this time, they must be very respectful and cooperative with you. So, without regret, say no and enjoy the time and space just for yourself. If you don't want to be so abrupt, you can always offer your help for another time, but always make it clear that your availability will be limited because you have a life to attend to. As Marcus Aurelius said, you could seize living at any moment. Therefore, consider this fact in your actions, speech, and thoughts. Reflect on the value of time and do not squander it. To live the best life possible, we must take our time seriously. I sincerely hope these tips will be of great use to you. Don't forget that you are a crucial part of this channel. So if this video has helped, like it so that more people can discover the powers of Stoic wisdom. You can support us on Patreon as a sign of gratitude. Thank you.